Hi, this is Linda, and I'm doing Talking in American English. This is lesson 20, and I'm calling it Small Talk number 3. And I'm using as the setting the location on a balcony of an apartment. So I'm calling it On a Balcony so you can find it later if you want to find it and review. And the conversation will be talking with verb form 3 mostly. Now remember, let me take this down. Remember we did the one last week. We talked about forms 1 and 2, which are used for any particular time. We're not being specific. Now, it includes before, it includes after. It can be any of those times. So we call it the anytime section. And we talked about how to make it negative also and how to make it stronger, and those things. We also mentioned that future uses form 1, and the vague future with a helper like can uses form 1. So we have form 1, and form 1, and a little bit of form 2 last time. This time we're going to look at form 3. When I say form 3, I want to remind some of you who may not have been keeping up. I have a lot of these sheets like this, but this is one. I have drink, drinks, drinking, drank, drunk. And we talk about drink anytime, and drinks anytime would be that form with he, she, or it. And then drinking is the one we're doing this time. Now, there's a short form that I made of that poster, just for a quick review. For instance, I sing, you sing, we sing, they sing, and I can give it a suggestion of a time by adding an adverb, sometimes, often, occasionally, every day, seldom, always, never, or if I make it a negative, we don't ever. And then he sings, has to have an S, she sings, it sings, and we can give it a more specific time by adding an adverb. Now I'm going to turn this over and show you what we're going to be doing this time. This is the short version of the chart. I am, and whatever we put here has to have ing. Singing, I am singing, you are singing, we are singing, they are singing. And then I can add an adverb like right now, this minute, at this time, at the moment, as we speak. That's used a lot. During this time, or while something else is happening. This is happening while something else is happening. And I use am for I, are for you, we, they, and is for he, she, it. There's where the S comes in. There it is. And the same words over here. You could add, you don't have to. When I take the poster down and show it to you, we have what's happening now or is ongoing. And I'll use the verb drink. I am drinking tea. You are drinking tea. We are drinking tea. They are drinking tea. He is drinking tea. She is drinking tea. It is drinking tea. If I make that negative, I am not drinking tea. But I can't shorten this. You are not drinking tea. You aren't drinking tea. We are not, or we aren't. They are not, or they aren't. He is drinking tea, or he is not drinking tea. She is drinking tea. She is not drinking tea. It is drinking tea. It is not drinking tea. And I can change is not to isn't drinking tea. Now I can use drinking without a helper if I don't use it as the main verb. The drinking man. Drinking alcohol is not good for your heart. That's a noun. Drinking is not good. The drinking man, that's an adjective, but it's not the main verb. So we're going to be looking at it as the main verb, and it will have a helper. Here's the conversation. And in the first part of the conversation, all the way down to here, we're using forms 1 and 2, either the form 1 with I or you or we or they, form 2 with a he, she, or it, like book is an it, or using it after a vague future or after a future, which uses will. So all of this is going to review that, but it leads us into the conversation that continues using form 3. So form 1 and 2 down to here, then form 3. So you can compare. Mike and Ellen are husband and wife and live on the 3rd floor of an apartment building. Every Saturday morning, Ellen sits on the balcony, drinks a cup of coffee, and enjoys the view. That's all she for all of these. Mike doesn't go out. He stays inside their apartment, relaxes in his favorite chair, and reads a book. Today's book, that's it, shares interesting facts about space. Ellen and Mike sometimes talk. Ellen tells Mike what she sees, and Mike explains to Ellen what he reads. There are a lot of S's on there because it's a subject he or she or it. So the actual conversation now begins. Mike says, "Can we hear each other through the open window?" Ellen says, "Yes, I hear you just fine. We will be able to talk." Mike says, "Do you see anything interesting?" Ellen says, "Yes, I do." In other words, I do see. "I see several interesting things." Mike says, "What do you see? Will you tell me about it?" Now we switch over to the 3rd form with ing. Ellen says, "In the park, some kids are playing soccer. A man and his son are flying a kite. A small child is riding the merry-go-round, and 4 boys are climbing a tree. I am trying to see what the old woman is carrying." By the way, if you're talking to her, don't call her an old woman, call her an older woman, but they're just talking to each other. She doesn't hear them, so they're calling her an old woman. Is carrying. I am guessing it is a picnic basket. Are you enjoying your book, Mike? What are you discovering about space? Mike says, "Today, scientists are saying the universe is so huge that more stars are existing right now in space than grains of sand on Earth's beaches and desert." Ellen says, "Wow, that is boggling my mind. I don't know much about space. Are you finding anything else interesting?" Mike says, "Scientists are making amazing discoveries. They are telling us that 12 billion light years away, a huge ball of water is floating around. They are estimating it to be equivalent to 140 trillion times the water in the oceans." Ellen says, "We both are learning new things today. I am coming inside now. It is getting close to lunchtime. You are making me become interested in that book. Are you going to share it with me? Mike says, of course. I am planning on talking about it a lot today. So we had a lot of third forms, ing forms. All of them had a helper of some kind. Now I'm going to talk about some of the vocabulary in the conversation. A man and woman who are married are husband, the man, and wife, the woman. A balcony is like a porch. It goes out from the house or the apartment. It is usually a small area just outside a door of a home or other building. It can be open with, you can see there's wind blows through, it's open, or it can be enclosed where it's got a screen. It might have a screen covering it that air can go through, or glass. Sometimes they even put boards up, but you can't see out, so that wouldn't make a very good balcony. But it could be open balcony, which they usually are, or an enclosed balcony that has something to block the wind or the light or something. It is not, however, on the first floor. On the first floor of a home, it is usually called a patio. Patio. First floor is a patio, second floor balcony, third floor balcony. A view is what you can see. It usually means a large area. Just fine is a way of saying easily, with no problem. She could hear just fine, no problem, it was easy. Huge. Sometimes people have trouble saying that. It's huge. Huge means very large or very big. Similar words are gigantic, enormous, massive, vast, expansive, gargantuan, and other words like that. There are a lot more. Boggling my mind, she said. That means it is more than my mind can understand, or it is so complicated or amazing that it confuses me and I have a hard time believing it. We also say it is mind-boggling. That information is mind-boggling. Estimate is the verb that's used. Estimate, if you say it on the end, it's a noun, but estimate is how you say it if it's a verb. Estimate means to make a reasonable guess, probably very close to the correct amount. And equivalent means equal to or the same as. This is an equivalent to that. It's the same or equal to it. That's an equivalent. So those are some words that are used in the story. I hope you enjoyed the conversation and learned a few new words, and I hope you learned a few ways to use the ing form. And remember, ing without a helper can be an adjective, it can be a noun, but it's not the main verb unless it has a helper. So that's the main lesson for today. I hope that helps. Bye-bye.